Hello, everybody. Welcome to Wrestleview Post-Raw, number 142. The number says over there. I'm Mike Tedesco, here from Wrestleview.com, ready to review another episode of Raw with you as we get ready to wind down 2021, which has just been another year of just ups and downs in terms of getting life back on track. But no matter what, if you're a Christian right now, we have about, at midnight, we'll have 11 days until Christmas. I'm still woefully unprepared from gifts, although Victoria's gift just came very recently, so at least I got that one under control. And Victoria took care of really all this stuff, but you still got to get cards and stuff out to everybody, and it's just not a lot of time to do all this stuff. Anyway, that's my problem. I'll figure that out later. I want to say hello to everybody in chat tonight. I'm flying solo tonight because last night, finally, at long last, I went to bed like relatively early for me, which is like 12:30, and around 12:30, 1 o'clock, and I was in a sound sleep, and around like 1:15, I get the like slapped on the wrist, like what's going on here? And it's Victoria waking up and crying Liliana in her arms, and I'm like, what is going on? I was like, is there something wrong with her? We gotta go to the hospital. I'm like, you don't know what's going on. I get woken up with that, and she's like, no, she just woke back to sleep. And then she gave it to me for like a second because she had to go to the bathroom. And then she was downstairs with her. Liliana never went back to bed after that. Being the wonderful husband I am, I did. I didn't know that it was going on. And she, when I got up to get ready for work, she told me that she hadn't gone to sleep. So Victoria basically pulled like an all-nighter. As soon as Liliana went to bed, she went to bed. And she didn't watch any of Raw tonight because, as everybody knows, there hasn't been an invention that can cure sleeping more effectively and more efficiently than professional wrestling. If you're tired and you need to go to sleep, watching professional wrestling you'll be done in 10 minutes. You'll be gone. There's no chance you can survive that. So anyway, let me say hello to everybody in the chat room tonight. We have a new timer here. First time in the stream, PLF0519. Hello, I am well. Thank you for joining us tonight. I see that it says I've been using Mike's articles to catch up on shows I missed for almost 4 years, but this is my first time coming to the stream. Awesome. Well, we're happy to have you here. Thank you so much. Oh, my mic doesn't sound right. What else is there? Mushroom Walls is here. Let me try to fix this microphone real quick. See if this will do anything. Let's see. Let's try that microphone. I don't know if that'll make it any better. I don't know if that'll make it any better. I don't even have my microphone set up tonight. I don't have I'm flying solo here. Hassan Terrell, hello. Hassan, how are you? Quentin Walters is here, our dear friend. Daniel Shell is here. Oh my! I was using the webcam one. Much better. Okay, there we go. Did you hear anything of what I was saying about the whole Victoria thing? Anybody? All right. Andrew K is here. PLF, much better. All right, good. All right, that's what I want. That's what I'm looking for. Sweet Lulu's Feraldi is here. All right, I'm gonna need all your help to get through this show. We're going to be reviewing again Monday Night Raw. Again, usually this time of the year I get on these podcasts. I sounded like the Peanuts teacher. Oh God, that was the principal, by the way. I think, right? I don't know. I have to watch the Christmas Peanuts special again. I haven't seen it. Better than the attendance at Raw tonight. This podcast is better attended than Monday Night Raw was tonight. Actually, I got to pull up that picture because it was startling. Last week's ratings for Monday Night Raw were startling, but we'll talk about that. Let's talk about that real quick. Let me just share my screen so you can see what I'm talking about here. This was the hard camera side for Monday Night Raw tonight. Whoa. That is that's an entire side of an arena tarped off. Wow. And Goosey, Mr. Anthony Oberstar, who lives in Minnesota, said that minutes before bell time, you could sit
on the floor for $25. That's amazing. Now look, why is that? Well, and this is what I was basically alluding to when I just a few moments ago. Like normally this time of the year, I'm getting on this show usually with Victoria, and I'm not a happy person. I just watched 3 hours of the most horrible entertainment that you could possibly imagine. We're like by this point we're watching, Miracle on, Brawl on 34th Street or whatever the hell they call them. Matches that everything just means nothing. The storylines are just endlessly pointless. They're just trying to waste time until they get to the Royal Rumble. And that's how these tickets are moving. These tickets are moving from the sins of the past. Everybody knows that, like, once football season starts up, and especially in the last, I want to say 10 years for WWE, the last 10 years, as soon as football starts up, you could just turn this show off for the next 4 to 5 months, and basically, until you get maybe up to Royal Rumble, you can start watching again, like as soon as like the week before Royal Rumble. Then stop watching again until WrestleMania. Then they start to try a little bit at least. They're paying for the sins of their past, because right now they're trying to refocus the winter months. They're trying, from all I've been reading and from what I'm seeing as well, they are trying to make this day one show an annual tradition. Although I don't know how they're going to continue to make, January 1st. Like the destination for, WWE, pay-per-views, like a day one show. I don't know if they can do that. Like, they're lucky this year New Year's Day falls on a Saturday, but next year and next year it'll be on a Sunday. But then the year after that, like, it's going to be on Monday. In theory, actually, hold on. Let me double check that. Actually, nope. Yep, it'll be on Monday. So what are they going to do? Cancel Raw to have a pay-per-view? They can't do that. So there's going to be some times where I guess they can't do it on January 1st, but they're trying to make this like a must-see event. The matches that they're booking for this show are high quality A-level pay-per-view matches here. Let me open up what we've got on the schedule for tonight, or for this pay-per-view so far, because it's quite a formidable lineup, if I have to say. So we got, as of tonight, and we'll talk about this, we have Big E as the WWE champion defending the title in a fatal four-way against Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, and Bobby Lashley. For the Universal Championship, this is a WrestleMania main event here. This is a Saudi Arabia main event here. And they pay big money for that. Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. Now, is this the final match that Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar will ever have? No. This is probably just one of a series of matches that they're going to have. But to put that on the January 1st show, that says something about what they think of this show. Usos versus New Day. That's a good match. It's a marquee tag match. Edge versus The Miz. They're bringing Ed. They're dusting Edge off and putting him in this. Becky Lynch versus Liv Morgan. And I think a strong possibility we could see an upset there. They're trying to refocus it, but people don't realize that yet. And it's going to take a long time for sales to come around. And also, don't forget, another factor that could be playing into this is, we still keep getting these new variants. Where I live, I'm in New Jersey, but and if it happens in New York, it's going to be happening in New Jersey soon. They put the mask mandate back on for New York. We're still in this pandemic. We're at this point now, the decisions made by, the people that lead us, they're just incomprehensible a little bit sometimes. They're just so knee jerk, but masks are back. So, that might be making people bullish on going to see Raw. I could tell you last year or last month with Survivor Series, I never miss. Never, ever, ever, ever miss a WWE show in this area. I go to house shows, I go to pay-per-views, I go to anything that they have. I just go to it. I didn't go to the Madison Square Garden shows in September, which is very unusual for me. And then in Survivor Series, I didn't go to that, and I didn't go to Raw because I'm just not there yet. I'm not ready to go yet. And I'm sure a lot of people do feel that way as well. But Goosey does say this same market that AEW Full Gear and Rampage sold out a larger capacity arena 1 month ago. Yeah, that's right. Again, I think WWE, I think it's a mix of the pandemic and also WWE just paying for those sins of just absolutely phoning it in. Look this time last year. I bet if I go back and look at the show that would have happened in the mid-December, I think I still remember it too. I think it was they were either gearing up for TLC or just I think they were gearing up for TLC, and I think Miz was reading like the night before Christmas as a TLC thing, and it was just like the worst you've ever seen. It's like it doesn't get any worse. But tonight had focus. It had it was a very, very watchable show. It was a very, very watchable show. So let's talk about it. Let's stop. I'm going to stop rambling. We're going to just start talking about this show. So I have to say, I was not entirely looking forward to recapping tonight. Just, after a couple weeks of what I actually thought are pretty good shows. And at this point in my life, I don't even know if 90,000 seat stadium. Goosey's mentioning that the Vikings sell out a 90,000 seat stadium every week. That's outside though. It's like there's a difference. There's a difference. I've been saying I've been enjoying the shows lately, and I'm waiting for the bottom to fall off. And tonight there was nothing advertised for this show. They had the finals of the RK Bronament or whatever, which was supposed to be the Mysterios versus the Street Profits, and then they stopped advertising that. And then they snuck in during the show that match is going to be delayed due to injury, and we don't know who's injured or why or what happened. So that's just not happening right now. And it seems like they're changing the focus for RK Bro. So I guess that's just over. There was nothing advertised for it. So I was like, this is going to be a rough show to watch. There's going to be nothing going on. They have no ideas. We're all set for day one. They're just going to put Lashley into it. How are they going to do that? That's the only thing I was thinking. But they actually had was it all sound booking? No, but they had an above average episode of Raw tonight. So Bobby Lashley the show starts off with him coming out to the stage and says that he was disrespected, and where MVP says that he was disrespected because his name wasn't even considered for the WWE Championship match at day one. And they made a statement last week when Lashley attacked Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, and WWE Champion Big E. So Kevin Owens comes out and says, "How was I disrespectful? I don't pay attention to anything you do. I didn't say your name. I haven't seen anything you've done in 2 years. I don't know what I did to you, but you attacked me. But you're not getting into this match. There's no way." And I got to tell you, I just absolutely love everything about Hope. Not only good thing about this show. No, breaking up. Don't say that. We don't want RKO to break up. We don't want RK Bro to break up. Everybody's saying that they're going to be broken up by the Royal Rumble. I don't think so. I think that, it depends on the merchandise numbers, right? That's what matters. That's what the focus of the company is on now. Just how much money can we make? How long can we make it for? Once RK Bro stops being a money-making machine, they're going to break it up. I don't think they're really going to care about the storyline anymore. They'll break it up. Uncle Billy here, Billy Hefner. All right. So anyway, Kevin Owens comes out, says you're not getting in the match. Seth Rollins says I hate Kevin Owens, but I agree with him. You're not getting in this match. And then they had this great little back and forth where Kevin Owens was saying, there's two of us. There's like one of Lashley. We should go attack him, and you go first. And then they're like kind of going back and forth. That was pretty good stuff. They have a good little shtick going on right now. Big E comes out. He says, I beat Bobby Lashley in a steel cage. I wouldn't mind beating him one more time. I don't really care. That's the face. That's a good face mentality to have. He doesn't fear anybody. Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens, you can fear him, but I've beaten Bobby Lashley before, so I'm not really afraid. So this sends out Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville, and they make a stipulation that says Bobby Lashley will be added to the match at day 1 if he can beat Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, and WWE Champion Big E in singles matches tonight. So Bobby Lashley has to wrestle 3 times, once against Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, and Big E in order to get added to the Fatal 4-Way match. How Bobby Lashley's a heel. He's a heel. How does stacking the odds against him that way? And then, of course, he's going to overcome it, because why would they do this and then not put him in the match? How is he a heel? Like, how is he the bad guy here? Seems like Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville are the bad guys, which they kind of are, I guess, on SmackDown, and that doesn't really carry over to Raw. I don't get that. But anyway, I wasn't arguing it. I was like, all right, fine. Well, at least we have 3 matches set for this show. And they weren't bad. Like, you're not going to book 3 matches. And then if Kevin Owens beats him in the first match, then it's all over. Then those 2 matches are canceled. Bobby Lashley's out. So that they're going to have him run through Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins in order to get the Big E. So matches with foregone conclusions can get boring. And actually, you heard it in the first match that Bobby Lashley had with Kevin Owens. Granted, it could have been a heel versus heel thing, or the fact that the arena was half empty, but no one was really buying Kevin Owens' comeback. No one was really thinking that Kevin Owens even had a chance. So what do you do with that? How do you make that entertaining? How do you, how do you get these guys to put on something watchable or something that makes sense? You could have Bobby Lashley just spear Kevin Owens right at the get-go and pin him. You could have Kevin Owens walk out by count out. Or I like that they did this because Kevin Owens has an incentive to beat Bobby Lashley. So have him, at least try. But then when the going gets tough, they had him tap out to the Hurt Lock before the Hurt Lock was even applied, because Kevin Owens doing full self-preservation. I thought that was, of all the finishes that I saw tonight, I thought that was the smartest one. My fear was when they booked all 3 of these matches that we're just going to get crap finishes. And yeah, like that was not like a wonderful, solid finish, but who cares? Because that actually makes sense for the storyline. That makes sense for what Kevin Owens is doing, how, who he is right now. Like Daniel Schell says, oh no, he's asking, so is Owens a full heel now? Yeah, he absolutely is. It makes sense for that character, and that makes the other 2 guys mad at him that he kind of just gave the match away and put Seth Rollins next in line. So now Seth Rollins is the middle match. That's just as bad as being the one that leads off. How do you make that match interesting? Well, they gave you a little bit of a false finish and made you think for even a few seconds, how are they going to get out of this? How are they going to get Bobby Lashley to Big E? So what happens is Kevin Owens runs down as Bobby Lashley is facing Seth Rollins. And Seth Rollins had declined Kevin Owens helping him out before the match started. Kevin Owens comes out and attacks Seth Rollins right in front of the referee. So the referee calls for the bell, says he's disqualified. Seth Rollins is the winner, which would mean that Bobby Lashley is out. So I'm like watching, so I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I guess what are they? I figured they were going to send out the authority figures, but again, that's like what you would do for like a face. Like it's so weird. It's like weird booking. But again, this is where Daniel Schell is right. Here he is, Daniel Schell making some sense here, because you can't have too many heels on one program. We do have too many heels on this program. We do. That's why Bobby Lashley, the heel, is getting essentially booked in a face type situation, and he still has to find a way to be a heel. So that's tough. PLF saying this was one of the best booking decisions they made on Raw all year, which is a sad statement. You're kind of right about that. You are kind of right about that. I still think Owens is on his way out. I mean, if what they're doing now with guys that are leaving is trying to get the most out of them, Instead of like, I mean, like they could do what they do with John Moxley, where they just kind of put him through tables every week. And then they're like, you know what, let's try to bleed as much money out of him as possible and do the Shield. And they made money with it. They made money on like a Dean Ambrose farewell tour with the Shield. They made some serious money with that. If that's like the new mentality, like, and even with Bryan Danielson, where they knew he was on his way out, but he was still in the main event of WrestleMania. If that's new mentality of just like, take guys that are leaving and instead of just burying them on the way out, like actually trying to get the most use out of them because they built them up for so long, that's fine with me. It's fine with me. I do have a feeling that Owens is on his way out, but it's just so clogged over at AEW, and I don't know if I'd want to. I don't know if I'd want to make the switch right now. But again, I don't know. I'm not in his shoes. But it's. I mean, look, Adam Cole made the switch, and you can argue back and forth and say it's been beneficial. I don't think it has. I don't think he's any better off than he was before. But if what I was reading about was true, where he was going to be like some kind of weird manager for Keith Lee, who, by the way, did get released, so that wouldn't have worked out anyway. Maybe just having a bit role on AEW is better than staying with the WWE. But Owens is not getting the treatment, Quentin. Owens is not getting the treatment right now. Owens goes to Impact just for the LOLs. That would be something. That would definitely be something. Well, anyway, so they send Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville out there, and they say, no, this is not happening in St. Paul. I guess if they were anywhere else, that would have totally been fine. So they restart the match, and Kevin and Bobby Lashley immediately spears Seth Rollins to get the victory, and now he has one more match to go through. So they at least gave you a few seconds of doubt, like, oh, what are they going to do? I thought they booked that really, really smart. And then I read on the Wrestleview comments, someone was saying like that was such crap booking. Kevin Owens could have went right down there and attacked Bobby Lashley with Seth Rollins since there was no DQ, and WWE booking sucks. And it's like, if you see how they finished that match where the bell rings and Lashley immediately spears him, there's no way, Kevin Owens is so far up the ramp, there's no way that he could have made it down. So it kind of makes it's still passable, in my opinion. It's still passable. I don't think that was like the most egregious thing. And me, I am not shy about calling out WWE's egregiously horrible booking decisions. Again, their egregiously horrible booking decisions led to the Excel Energy Center being half full tonight, and why they keep airing these ridiculous WrestleMania commercials, stupendous and all. Like, they can't sell out WrestleMania. They have this giant stadium down in Dallas that they have to get filled for 2 nights, and of course they're going to try to charge you out of your house, to get, to make as much money as possible, but they can't move these tickets. They're having trouble moving these tickets beyond, the hardcores that are going to go out to Dallas. So we have all these ridiculous commercials. Again, WrestleMania in years past, if they had WrestleMania, 15 years ago or whatever it is, or it's still even though Raw's been bad for the last, I would say, almost 10 years since they went to 3 hours. 10 years ago, if they made WrestleMania, 2 nights, it would be, I still think it would be an instant sellout. I still think it would be, but not now, not in this environment, not with how bad they booked through the years. They're trying to turn it around now. You can see that they're making a concerted effort because, hey, I think part of it has to do with the fact that AEW is doing so well. And it does put pressure on them, and it does put eyes on them, and it does make their, people ask questions, that own stock in the company and might actually wield some power. So, they're making an effort again, especially in times when they don't make effort, like the winter time. I am Sticky is here. Shane Bradley, Steen will be gone next year. Bank it. All right. We'll remember that, Shane. We'll remember that. All right. Let's see. We'll see what happens. All right. So we get to the main event. final match, Bobby Lashley versus WWE Champion Big E. No disqualification match. I really, really like whenever Bobby Lashley and Big E fight. You know, we've seen like one big match with them so far, one really big one, which was that steel cage match, and I thought that was like, you know, because Big E won the title through the Money in the Bank cash-in, which is like kind of cheap a little bit. That was Bobby Lashley, it seemed like he went out of his way to make it to make that a really, really great match for Big E. He gave him a lot. And it was a moment where it's like, okay, Big E's here. He's arrived. He's not a joke. This is legit. So based on that, like I feel like this is just like a great matchup. And tonight was another really good matchup. These two mix up really, really well. And of course, no DQ stipulation makes it just so much more fun. You know, they know what the crowd likes. They know what people want to see, and it's tables. They want to see the tables. So actually, I got to show this real quick. Let me see if I can pull this up now. Stop sharing. Let's do this one. It's so annoying to like have to go through it like this, but we'll get it. All right. WWE Twitter paying tribute to the great Matthew of Botchamania, even though they kind of got the meme wrong, you know, because whenever Matthew does the I am the table thing, it's because the table doesn't break, and the table very much breaks here. But they paid tribute to Matthew. I am the view. I am the table. We got a lot of tables in this one. Big E puts Kevin Owens, who interfered in the match, through a table. Kevin Owens taking those big bumps as usual. Bobby Lashley puts Seth Rollins through a table. Lots of table breaking here, and Bobby Lashley is the one that eventually comes out on top. They literally threw everything. I am not a big fan at all of the champions losing, and I'm especially not a big fan of the WWE champion having to lose ever, because I think, you know, even though they have been proven to be just props, you know, these titles, it still seems like the main championship, the one that the entire focus of the show is built around, that and the women's title, are protected, and they have been making the champions last much longer. You know, title reigns aren't just throwaway 3-week reigns and then they switch it like a hot potato. They've been putting in the work through the years to make these titles mean something, because if the title means nothing, there's no reason to watch the show. There's no central purpose for any of these people to be doing what it is that they do. So you need to have a goal. You need to have a prize. Unless your name is, well, he was a transitional champion to save it for a bigger one. Yes. And PLF, you have to watch out. If Victoria was here right now, she would not be happy with that. She would not be very happy with that. And also Nikki Ash was also a transitional champion. It's okay to have transitional champions, but you can see, like, even the transitional champions, it's kind of like in the 1970s when Stan Stasiak was the champion for like 3 weeks just to get it onto, I think Pedro Morales was the next in line, because they didn't want to have him go over, somebody else. You know, it's like, oh, we save that match for a bigger time. So you have transitional champions. That's, classic. But Miz was definitely a transitional champion. But don't tell Victoria I said that, because Christmas is coming up and I don't want to upset her. And she also did not sleep much, so she'll be extra cranky. That's true. But this is true too. PLF is given a good argument here. She was the transition from Charlotte to Charlotte, but that's because they're trying to pile on Charlotte's title reigns so she can get to 16 before her contract is up, so she can beat her father's record. That was like, it seemed like the focus was on for a while, getting Charlotte to lose the title a whole bunch of times, and then win it back, so that by WrestleMania she'll be geared up to either tie her father's record or break it. And then they realized, well, this is just devaluing our title. So they seem to stop, which I think is really smart. But it was like around this time that they stopped counting her NXT women's title reign as like being part of her official canon as well. So that was interesting moves. But there was a purpose to that. There certainly was a purpose to that. Anyway, so they had a great match. I like no DQ matches. I like weapon matches. They're just fun. And they had Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins interfere, which makes sense. That's sound, logical booking, and it also gets them involved because they're going to be involved in obviously they're part of the main event. And it also gives Big E an out because they attack Bobby Lashley first, and Big E not wanting to win in a dishonorable way because he's a face, and which is still kind of a stupid move, especially if even if you are a face, it's still stupid to not want the advantage, but that's what they do with their faces. Totally fine. Then they attack Big E, so now he has that out that he was attacked by them. He fights them off, gets in the ring, and challenges Bobby Lashley. He wants to fight Lashley, and then MVP comes up from behind and hits him in the knee with his cane. So they gave Big E every single out in the world to kind of explain away why he is getting pinned tonight, which is fine. I hate the WWE champion losing, but it doesn't happen often, and that it worked out well. I had no issues with that. So the show had focus, and Bobby Lashley's now part of the Fatal 4-Way. It wasn't just like they just put him in there because he demanded it. They got a show-long storyline out of it. We got 3 decent to very good matches out of it, so I can't complain. Now, the rest of the show, I certainly have some complaints about, but they also gave us a couple surprises, in the mid parts of the show as well, particularly with Otis, who they haven't, who they were going to push last year because it was like the pandemic, and well, who cares? We're just going to try to make people as happy as possible. And they want Otis. Let's just give them Otis. Who cares? We have no crowds. We don't have to sell tickets. Just do whatever. So they gave the Money in the Bank title contract to Otis, and they're like, oh, you know what? We better start trying because those Raw numbers and the SmackDown numbers were not looking pretty. So then they started trying again, and they realized, oh my God, we have the Money in the Bank contract on Otis. Oh, we got to get that off him. And then they went through this systematic destruction of the Otis character. Even turned him heel, took away everything about him that makes him fun and unique. And he was a tremendous character, but he's better off like this. He just is. He's got more of an upside, as a heel monster than as like the goofy guy doing the Caterpillar. So good on Otis. They had him beat Riddle, which is not it sounds like a surprise, but if it's not really groundbreaking if you think that Riddle, like in every single match that RK Bro loses, Riddle's the one that gets pinned. It's like they never pin Randy Orton. Riddle's always the fall guy. So for him to fall to Otis is not a big deal. But the surprise was that Otis knocked down Randy Orton and kept him down. So maybe they're doing something with Otis. Maybe that's what they're doing. I like this comparison, PLF. He has potential to be like a Yokozuna Vader-esque heel. That's high praise, but with his athleticism, to say that he could be Vader-esque, I don't know if he could be Yokozuna, because Yokozuna wasn't like he was good, I guess, before he was like 600 pounds, or decent at least, but he had an aura around him, and I don't know if so did Vader, but Vader was a great wrestler and a great big man. I think he has to compare him to Vader as like a big man that can move in the ring. That's high praise. It remains to be seen if that happens. It's just one night, but we'll see. I don't hate that comparison at all. So, it's they've been doing this little rebranding of Otis, and maybe that's going to be something. Maybe that is going to be something. We had, let's see. Let me scroll up and I'll just go right through this whole entire thing here. After the Otis match, they had Bianca Belair versus Doudrop, which if you think about like Riddle and Otis, Bianca Belair and Doudrop was just like the female version of that match, except this time Bianca Belair as Riddle doesn't lose. Bianca Belair gets the victory. I really like this match. Doudrop is another tremendous athlete. She's Nia Jax had that role forever as like the larger, intimidating woman. Now Doudrop does not have the intimidation factor on her side, I have no clue. I don't know how to answer that question. Why she's still called Doudrop? Her name is Piper Niven. I have no clue. But the way they decided to debut her was as the excited Eva Marie manager, and they started teasing breaking them up the very first week, which was so dumb. But anyway, so she's not going to have that Nia Jax aura around her yet. But if they keep going like this, they can. They gave her some new music tonight. She showed a lot of aggression. I really, really liked what I saw from Doudrop in this match. But also, Bianca Belair, as always, was tremendous. And I thought this was a really good win for her. I thought this was a good match to see her, face somebody, like Doudrop. Pins her with a 450 splash. Of course, Doudrop attacks her from behind, and they're going to continue this on. But I thought this was a really good victory for Bianca Belair, and this is so far has been, oh my God, oh my God, that was so nasty. That rope through the elbow, that through the rope elbow drop, she crushed her. Oh my, it's like, and then Bianca Belair rolls out of the ring and she's still like selling something else. So they're like, maybe she did get kicked in the eye. I don't know, but she got crushed and she was still like selling her eye. I was like, oh my God, like she's like superhuman, Bianca Belair. What an incredible athlete she is, and what an incredible character she is. And it's asinine. It's asinine that with the way she started the year, winning the Royal Rumble, being the main event of night one of WrestleMania against Sasha Banks, and stepping up to the plate in one of the biggest ways possible, and having a great match at WrestleMania and a relatively decent title reign. I mean, I loved her series against Bayley. To now, at the end of the year, they've been rehabbing her since SummerSlam because they screwed up on her so badly. That's shameful. That's absolutely shameful. But she's a great character, and she's a smart worker. If anybody's going to survive a rehab, I mean, look how many times they had to rehab. There's a number of people that they've tried to rehab a bunch of times. Braun Strowman was like one that was like perpetually in rehab because of the awful way that they booked that guy until it just didn't make sense to rehab him anymore, and they let him go, I guess. The Fiend was rehabbed a number of times, I guess you could say, or put different spins. It was horrible, just horrible. I think she's actually going to survive the rehab and come out better than ever. So, and if she keeps having matches like this, that's just gonna be the case. It just is. After Kevin Owens and Bobby Lashley, we keep getting these advertisements for Veer Mahan coming. It's like, well, when is it going to happen? Becky Lynch comes down. And this part of the show, I did not like whatsoever. The Becky Lynch promo at the start was fine. I had no issues with it. The whole sauntering around the ring and, my critics that, people that talk about me, they've never done it. It's like, yeah, well, baseball writers never play baseball, but they vote who gets into the Hall of Fame. It's like, you don't have to actually do something to have an opinion on it, and be, in tune with the inner workings of how it operates. It's like I always hated that response. It's like imagine players refusing to answer reporters because, oh, well, you never played football, you never played basketball, you never played hockey, so whatever. It's like, come on now. But God, everything went downhill after Liv Morgan came out. Just like everything every possible example that you can have of just scripted promos killing people, that was the Liv Morgan promo tonight. She was atrocious delivering her lines. I don't think she didn't believe in her lines. She couldn't get through her lines because I don't think that is how the Liv Morgan, the person behind the character, actually speaks. So it was foreign to her to try to deliver this drivel. And then the brawl afterward, and culminating with Becky Lynch just essentially taking a flat back bump on the ground, trying to drop kick steel steps into Liv Morgan's arm. Let me see if I can find this. Let's see if I can type this into Twitter and come up with a video of just how awful that looked. Let me see, or let me type Becky Lynch botch, or somebody in the chat room can give me a link to that. I'd like to see if I can find this, but oh my God, she went for a drop kick the steps, and just essentially took a flat back bump on the ground because she missed it by 1,000 miles. I don't know what the hell she was thinking. I don't know what the hell what that was. But for Liv Morgan tonight, if they're trying to make her into a character that people can believe in, tonight was devastating. From the horrible promo to charging the ring and getting outclassed, and then to getting crushed and embarrassingly put down by Becky Lynch. This was a horrible night for the Liv Morgan character. The only way that they can salvage this now is to have her day one and beat Becky Lynch. They wanted to day one into, this surprising, this A-level show. You need to have an A-level event happen. And even if, Liv Morgan does wind up just being a transitional champion from Becky Lynch to Becky Lynch, I think, I think maybe the only way you can salvage Liv Morgan is to have her beat Becky Lynch at day one. And I don't think they're going to do that. And I'm going to pause for a second because I was going to ask him about this privately, but since he just shared it in the chat, I have been thinking about this because Mr. Andrew Elder, the Wrestleview Fiend, put a tweet from Goosey that he was in the hospital, and I really was concerned, and I tweeted him about it as well, but I didn't hear back. If you're joining the show for the first time, we have people that have been following the show from Wrestleview Post-Raw number 1, and they're still here at Wrestleview Post-Raw number 142. These are people that I've met Goosey in person. We've hung out. I've even survived a car ride with him. We're all very, I like to think that we're all friends at this point. And, we argue and bicker about wrestling, but we're all friends. And this is a tight community here on WrestleView. And I think in a weird way, we love each other. So when one of us is down, like in my real life, this is not just like a thing that I do and then I just forget about it. I think, these people, I care about their lives and what happens with them. And I was actually thinking about Goosey today and while I was on my lunch break and just like, wow, like, I hope he's all right. Like, well, I wonder what's going on here. Goosey says, want to let everybody know that I'm A-okay regarding my heart today. So that is great news. And let's keep it that way. No more trips to the hospital. Goosey's, we gotta keep you healthy, sir. You're too young to have to go through anything bad. So, hey, he's been around wrestling his life, man. Even I haven't been around that long. Chick-fil-A. That's my dinner tonight. By the way, Chick-fil-A sauce. It's really good, but if you just smell it, it smells like Band-Aids. It's such a weird thing. It's like I dip my chicken in and I just try to eat it as fast as possible because the taste is good, but the smell is Band-Aids. It's just very strange. So now, good luck trying to eat Chick-fil-A after that. Sorry. We had a tag match, Finn Balor and Damian Priest versus Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode. Damian Priest, not much of note here tonight. No, thank God no flips from him. So that was good, but he did take a nasty spine buster on the floor from Robert Roode. I mean, really nasty. And then Finn Balor tried for a somersault senton and just fell in between Ziggler and Roode, and they barely caught him. So he took a flat back bump on the ground too. This was just a strange little tag match. It was quick, not much to it, but I have to say, watching Finn Balor as somebody who was dominating in NXT and doing really well and had a great character since coming back to the main roster, he has faced Roman Reigns in the main event of a pay-per-view as the Demon and been pinned and also humped the floor. And he was pinned in the stupidest way possible with a rope breaking. There was no explanation for that. He never said, "Oh, well, the rope broke and I got screwed. I deserve a rematch." Nothing. It was just took it. That was the end of it. comes over to Raw, gets drafted over to Raw, is in the King of the Ring tournament. In the finals, he loses. And now he's getting shown up by Austin Theory every week. So this has not been a really great return to the main roster for him. But then again, I think about the last time that he was on the main roster, and I'll never forget it. There was a picture of him sitting in a child's playhouse smiling, and I was like, this man needs some help. This is really, really awful. And speaking of people that are just doing awful and being completely wasted, Rhea Ripley loses to Queen Zelina. I know they're trying to do something with this Nikki Ash thing and trying to say like, oh, I don't know if they're going to do a thing where they try to get her to overcome the odds, or if they're just going to get her to turn heel and get rid of that stupid superhero outfit. It doesn't matter. Rhea Ripley's a bit player in this, and it's a complete and total waste of her talent. Somebody who has a unique look like her should be way further up the totem pole than she is right now. She's stuck in the most awful storyline, and it's just bringing her down. Oh my God. I cannot believe, and she's having a minute-long match and losing to Zelina Vega. Come on. It's just brutal. It's just brutal. And I don't mean to sound whiny or anything like that, but my God, I mean, that's just some atrocious booking. And Rhea Ripley, how many times do you get a second chance to make a first impression? They brought her up, and the pandemic happened. She was going to face Charlotte at WrestleMania in Tampa, and it never happened. And, well, they did face at WrestleMania, and she lost the women's title to Charlotte and then was never seen again. So then they had they kept her away from the main roster for a long time. Then they had a second chance to make a first impression this year, and they totally botched it again. She got her WrestleMania match. She even got her WrestleMania win, but they totally screwed up her character by turning her face and heel multiple times, maybe on the same show, but definitely made the switch a couple times in the month of April, and it just killed her. She's dead. And now with this tag team, she's on life support right now. She's on life support. She's lucky she doesn't have a big contract, because she's doing so bad it's almost like unrehabable. You know, but they can at least try. They can at least try. But she's doing atrocious right now. Absolutely atrocious. We have the Miz and Maurice on Miz TV, and Miz makes a bid for himself to go into the WWE Hall of Fame, which I thought was a really great little moment. I thought it was pretty funny when he was fake crying at the end of his video. Edge comes out. They have another good exchange. I love everything about this matchup. I love everything about Edge and the Miz, and I think it's going to be so much fun to watch. I think we're going to really, really have a very good match at day one. I think it's going to be I think it's going to be like the sleeper hit of the night, because the promos between them have built this up so well. Really interesting thing happens though, so Miz attacks Edge, and so Edge makes a comeback, tries to go for a spear, and Miz pulls his wife Maurice in front of them. So Edge puts the brakes on, then Miz hits him with skull-crushing finale. He talks to his wife, and she's furious. How dare you pull me in front of you? I have 2 kids now. I can't be doing stupid stuff like this anymore. And it leads to this really great moment here, where she just has had enough, and she slaps him right in the face. Oof. She laid it in there, too. She didn't hold back on her husband there. There was no home cooking there. She slapped the crap out of him. This was just brilliant, because you know that they're not going to break up Miz and Maurice. Obviously, I mean, they're married in real life, number one, so that would just be stupid. But it's just going to lead to Miz going over Edge at day one, which leads to Beth Phoenix coming in, which gets us our tag match of Miz and Maurice versus Edge and Beth Phoenix. Everybody's happy. It's going to be great. Andrew K., we're on the same page, brother. This whole thing is a work. Maurice calls Edge at day one, cue Beth and the build to WrestleMania. You know, Edge seems like he's in this right now because he just wants to kind of have his career on his terms and do some special things, you know, not just for him and his legacy, but also for his family. And what's better, and I think Miz is at that same point too. What's better than husband and wife versus husband and wife? Has that been done at WrestleMania before? No, I do not think so. So that could be something really, really, that could be a great feud. That could be some really, really good promos and stuff like that leading up to. They could do it at Royal Rumble, for all we know. It might not be WrestleMania. They might not have this team to make it to WrestleMania, but that could definitely be a Royal Rumble match for sure. I would love to see it. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I think everything about Edge and Miz is hitting on all cylinders. So aside from a nothing tag match, which didn't affect the show at all, yeah, we had that awful segment with Becky Lynch and Liv Morgan. We have the awful treatment of Rhea Ripley. Still, despite those things, which they weren't a big deal, this show had focus. This show had and had an idea, and they fleshed it out and they made it work. Because again, like I was saying, we're going to put you in 3 matches. So it's like, the first 2 matches are going to be victories for Bobby Lashley. It's just, how is he going to do it? And they picked really smart ways to get him those victories. And it played into the other heels, with their characters and things like that. It worked out really well. And then the main event, they gave Big E every single excuse to explain away his loss. I thought it was actually a well-booked storyline. And that's not something that I say normally on Raw. Even on good Raws, there's still some things that are poorly booked. But this main event storyline for day 1 has been darn near, what I would expect from a major league wrestling company when they're booking a storyline, all the way through. Because sometimes they'll have good moments in storylines, but then there'll just be those moments in the storyline where it's like, it just makes no sense and that sucks. But this made a lot of sense, and it really, really worked out. So I got to say, I'm pretty happy with that. I want to know what you think in the chat room. Can you please give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down for what you thought of this episode of Monday Night Raw? I'll tell you my thoughts. Again, it was a really, really good show. I cannot, I could complain about a few things, but they're not going to take away from the overall goodness of the show. And, at the end of the day, a show is all about its main storyline, and the main storyline is firing on all cylinders right now. So I got to give the show a thumbs up. I'm going to, and of course, like Daniel Schell says, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you're seeing us for the first time, it's usually, like it's not just me talking at your faces, like there's, I don't like podcasts where it's just like one person talking the entire time. My wife Victoria is a wrestling expert as well, and she's normally on the show. She just wasn't on tonight because, again, like I was saying before, she was quite tired. Let me pull up the Twitter poll as well, so we can see what the people think of it. What do they think of Raw from the great city of St. Paul, Minnesota? All right, here we go. 67% thumbs up. 2/3 of our readers right now are giving Monday Night Raw from now it's last night, a thumbs up. Last night on the East Coast. All right. Wonder where. Oh, that's the other thing I want to talk about. I forgot to talk about the Austin Theory stuff going on with McMahon. The McMahon cameos are pretty. I don't get it, but I mean, they're putting Austin Theory with Vince McMahon. They have to have some big ideas for him, I guess. So whatever it takes, I guess, they're going to use to push young talent. But it didn't work out for Drew McIntyre the first time around either. So maybe Austin Theory will have his little storyline with McMahon, go away for a few years, and then come back and say, hey, that Vince McMahon thing put a lot of pressure on me, and now I'm back. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, PLF gives it a sideways thumb. Great in some aspects, but the Becky Liv thing was so bad that it killed my opinion of the show. Wow. So there are some segments that are so bad that it can kill. It didn't do it for me. Because again, on this show in December, I'm expecting, a Roman tragedy when I watch this show. And I haven't been getting that horrifically booked 3-hour slog. So anything's an improvement from years past. So I can't say that I expect bad segments on this, and it doesn't kill it for me. 101 thumbs up gets a total pass from Quentin Walters. All right. Granted, that's better than I would give over half the episodes this year. So a slight sideways thumb is better than he would give. Okay, all right, I do understand that. Okay, Daniel Shell, Met was background noise. Kind of know how this ends up. Thumbs down. There you go. Yes, and this is very true. When I get really upset, you get a mic rant. I'd grow tired of you too. Trevor Mishke just pops in for that. Thank you. Oh, wow. Thank you very, very much for that. Billy Hefner did not see most of it. Yeah, I guess you could. Like, if you watched it, I'll say if you watch this show, it's not a must watch. It's not like you have to go out of your way to see like anything on the show. But if you watched it, I didn't feel like I wasted my time tonight. And that's so important. That's so important that I don't feel like I wasted my time. I'll give it $725 ringside tickets up. Very nice, Goosey. All right. And Machine Walls get a thumbs up as well. All right. So the mostly thumbs up. I do understand the people that gave it a thumbs down or just kind of like in between on, like not really feeling it either way. I get it. So anyway, next week is December 20th. The week of Christmas. We will be back next week. I will be doing a recap, and we will do a post-Raw show. I guarantee you, even though December 27th is the final Raw before day one on that Saturday, and I'll do a Wrestleview Live on January 1st, and I'll recap January 1st show. I'm not doing Raw. And I'm not doing a post-Raw on December 27th because I'm a musician. I'm playing on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and then the 26th is Sunday. I'm playing that day too. So I got 3 days in a row on top of all that, parties and things. I'm done. I'm not going to recap Raw and do a podcast as well. So next week is the last post-Raw of 2021. Make sure you tune in for that. Maybe I'll get crazy. I don't want to say. It's probably not worth to do a live recap of that. In fact, I know it's not. So we're not going to do a live post Raw of that. But we're gonna be looking at doing some more live watch along post Raws in 2022. So check that out, and make sure you subscribe to this. Too much wrestling for Mike to like. True. All right, everybody. I'm Mike Tedesco of Wrestleview.com. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight and joining me and listening to me talk about Monday Night Raw. We'll see you next week. Me and Victoria will see you next week here on the Post Raw Show, the final one of 2021. Until then, take care.